My painting streak continues, including taking on a subject matter, cats laying in a little flower garden, that I was excited but very intimidated to paint. Wasn't even sure I knew how to do it. Let me show you how I took it in steps as I show you what I painted last week. Last week, I started off honestly in a really bad mood. I was in a terrible mood when I painted this page. Not only when I painted it, but when I was done, I was like, look at this. Look at this trash. I was so mad and moody. And I think it just is a good lesson in remembering to turn the page and come back later. Because when I came back, I just was so surprised at how mad I was because I love the way the blue comes off this page. I added these at the very end, I added these light pink shapes to the middle of the flowers, the red flowers, which I really think made them pop. And so it's just funny. It's just one of those things where it's like sometimes we feel so emotional and we feel like we're failing so badly. Um, and it's just not a big deal. It's one sketchbook page. And actually, this one isn't even that bad. Okay, this is the main piece that I want to talk about. I'm so excited. I was walking my dog Stevie out in the neighborhood when we saw a cat run through a garden. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be so cute to paint cats in gardens? And I immediately got too scared and intimidated by the idea because I don't know how to paint cats. And sometimes when I paint more intricate, cute, illustraty things, I make it too hard and I ruin it. And so the main thing I wanted to share here is I took this in steps. I didn't sit down and sketch everything out. I just started in one place, and that was by finding some cat references and deciding how many cat vignettes I wanted. I ended up drawing 5 circles in pencil just to kind of lay out where the vignettes would be. And then I wrote myself notes. So like this one, I knew I wanted a cat, like a bird's eye view of a cat laying in the grass. And this one, I knew I wanted more of a close-up of a face popping out of the flowers. So I just wrote a few words to tell myself that's what I was looking for. And then I went and found reference photos. Even though I painted them all as black cats because I really love black cats, I found reference photos of all sorts of cats. And I was really just looking at their positions. And then I painted black shapes for each cat. And then once that dried, I went ahead and added all of their little details on top. Then the next day, totally next day, like I needed time between these things. Like I said, I was very intimidated. I painted the green circles around them. After that dried, I added in the green stems. And so you'll see in each piece, in this case, it was the grass. This guy here, I added the stems, some behind him, some in front of him. And I also painted some little white butterflies in some of the vignettes. And then finally on the last day, I added, first I painted all the flowers in white. I just blocked out a bunch of white dots where I thought flowers might be nice. And then finally, once that dried, I added a little bit of pale pink, purple, and yellow on top. And again, if you didn't see last week's video, I am working from a limited color palette. And I think that really helped me not get too overwhelmed with the colors I was going to use. But I'm not trying to be an a-hole. I just can't believe I painted this. And I'm so proud of myself. And I want you to have that feeling too. And so just know that the next time you're excited to paint something and you get scared and you think you can't do it, what if you took it one step at a time? Just try it. These pages are just some brush tests I was doing. This whole left side are some of my round brushes I was testing, and this side is a mix of liner brushes, flat brushes, and filbert brushes. But I'll just quickly say these tests were actually really helpful because now I have a great reference for which of my brushes are more precise and which ones are a little bit looser, because there are times when I need different things. Like when I was painting these cats, I needed little fine tipped brushes to be able and get in there and make their little expressions and really have control over it. Whereas with some more of the flower shapes themselves, I wanted things that would come out blobbier or a little bit messier. And so having this, I actually started this one in between doing all of these so that I could figure out what round brushes I needed to use. And then I went back and filled this out. One other note is I did find it more helpful to draw a hollow shape with each brush instead of coloring them in like I did with the round brushes, because I can actually see the quality of the line that the brush makes. So I know that I'm not going to get as neat of a shape with this brush with this size 4 filbert as I am with this size 4 round over here. I painted these tomatoes during an art date with my art group, my fellow artist art group. We meet multiple times a month just to hang out and make art. And I was working from a brief in my inspiration binder. It's a free little binder that I put out with all this inspiration in it. And there was a brief this month about Mediterranean art. And so I spent an hour just painting some different tomatoes with gouache. I was really just kind of warming up and seeing how I wanted to simplify them. I love red and green together, so I was very excited about the palette. And I really don't have much to say except look how cute these tomatoes are. It really made me want to paint more. And in fact, the last thing I have to show you isn't even in my sketchbook. I wanted to keep exploring tomatoes, and so I got a piece of my Arches paper out, which is 100% cotton. And it was great just as an experiment. Like, the reason I went to paper is I felt like I needed more space to really spread out to play with the tomato leaves and the big fruits and all of that stuff. But it was nice to feel, to be reminded of what high quality paper does. I mean, look at the texture of this dry brush on there. That is so beautiful, and that's something that I'm not able to get on my very smooth moleskin sketchbook paper. There's also a nice moment here where I painted the green leaves first and painted the red around it, and this overlap that you're seeing here is just where that red kind of shaded that green, and I think that's really cool. Even though this piece is kind of abstract, I actually think that it could work for like a repeating pattern as an element that gets added in. But it was nice to remind myself that I don't have to stay in my sketchbook, that I can go and explore in other places. So that is all that I painted last week.